the camera. "98 days you've been watching this camel train journey. We've been making daily videos for 98 days. Today's the 99th video, and I know what you're thinking. I can tell. You are thinking, man, camels look awesome. I totally want one on my homestead, right? Truth is, you should. You really should have a camel on your homestead. I 100% believe that. The reality is there's a lot of reasons that you probably shouldn't. We're gonna talk about that in this video. Why camels are such an amazing homestead animal that you probably shouldn't get. When people look for homestead animals, especially...
Do you want me to take my sunglasses off?
Of course I want you to take your sunglasses off. I find homesteaders often like to find dual purpose animals. If we're gonna have an animal that we have to feed and care for and worry about and fence and breed...
You say we, but this is a recent, I think, change in mentality for you.
Oh, I don't think I look for dual purpose. That's very different for me.
Now we do.
You're right, we're getting more that way.
Yeah.
We're getting more that way.
Yeah, definitely with the...
More of a homesteader versus a farmer.
We came into this more farm-minded. We were starting a farm, so we wanted to sell our products.
So we just wanted meat.
Yes, because that's what the consumer is looking for. If you find the majority of Americans are used to a Cornish cross chicken and a big, fat, full of bacon pig, and that's not necessarily what you get on a dual-purpose animal. But am I going too far off subject
so much for
you?
bullet points. I said good, clean bullet points. Easy to edit.
But look at the way the world is right now, when we're not sure what kind of feed supply we'll be able to have. It would be nice to have on more grass, less grain input. So we, and him especially, I think, have turned kind of a corner on looking for more dual-purpose animals.
And thanks.
You're welcome.
I find generally homesteaders, a lot of them look for dual-purpose animals.
Don't try to just edit everything I said out. I know that's what you're gonna do.
All right, I'll
keep it all in.
She's gonna watch this video.
I am.
You're
This
actually
one
gonna
I'll
watch this video. It's hard to find a good dual-purpose animal. Camels are like a 5 or 6 purpose animal. They're one of the oldest domesticated animals. Camels are not exotics. They are a domestic livestock. They've been that way for thousands and thousands of years. And yet, they haven't been so specifically bred so as to have like dairy lines and fiber lines and meat lines.
Because one of the great things about a camel is they're survivalists. They want to survive.
And so they produce milk, fiber, meat off of this. Or better yet, more woody browse.
More
this isn't
deserty,
perfect,
woodier browse.
They are masters of adaptation. They can thrive in all sorts of climates, from the harsh winters of Mongolia to the deserts of Saudi Arabia. They can produce so much off of so little.
And that's why in countries that are plagued with droughts for years and years, why camels are being encouraged more and more over cows, even, because they can survive on the little plants that are out there in the midst of a drought. When it comes to, say, milk production, how much milk can a camel produce? Right now, Millie's at the end of her lactation, so we'll get about half a gallon a day from Millie. Is that right? That's not bad.
No.
at peak of production, our mentor, who we got Millie and Solomon from, he's got a camel who just freshened, and she's giving 3+ gallons a day. So that's a nice amount of milk for a family.
When it comes to fiber, we don't know anything about camel fiber. You got your wad here? Give me here, Mr. Fiber. When it comes to fiber, we don't know much about fiber at all. We've never had a fiber animal. But we've been told over a lot of YouTube comments that this fiber is incredible and we should be saving it and turning it into something. What do you want to turn it into?
A hat.
So you're saving it. He's got a wad out there, and somebody in the comment section is going to get a big old package of camel fiber to make a hat, homesteady hat out of.
He's been working
He's
hard for
only
that
one.
fiber.
Look at him, he's eating the trees.
They are fantastic pack animals. That's the reason they were imported into the US to begin with. Way back in the the Civil War, to pack supplies through arid desert land. We haven't done that yet. We got a list of things we want to do with our camels.
Yeah, I just started Millie's milk vein. See it?
Yeah, milk veins.
There's a on the Cameliers Facebook page, there's someone who had 6 or 8 camels hooked up to a wagon in Australia. It's amazing watching like those 8 camels pull a big old wagon.
Another thing people will get livestock for that camels are great for is to improve the quality of the pasture they have. Camels will eat your weeds, will eat the unwanted things that are growing. If you have cows, for example, they will eat that. At the same time, studies are showing that if you share a water trough with those cows, or trough as people want me to say,
Trough.
animals that will share a water trough with camels will get the bacteria that's in the camel's gut. Cows will get fatter. Other livestock can get those enzymes in their gut. They'll do better off of forage that camels thrive on. They're softer on your land.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. We noticed even the difference in the livestock pads we have down there.
Oh man.
They're not so heavy, so their feet are very wide, like dinner plates. Not so heavy and pointed as the cow, so they don't sink down into the gravel pad.
And puncture.
And their poop is like
Oh my
goat
goodness.
poop. It's pellets instead of runny, heavy cow poop.
So keeping them inside the barn, cleaning up after them is a breeze.
Easy. It's so easy.
Yeah.
So much different than cows. I would never keep the cows in all the time. The camels are in all the time, and it's a breeze to clean up after.
It's like cleaning up after sheep or goats.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Another thing, actually Solomon stepped on my foot the other day. Grasshopper steps on my feet all the time, and it hurts so bad, little calf. Solomon stepped on my toe and it was like nothing, no problem at all.
They're funny.
I'm sure a grown camel stepping on your foot would probably not be a good thing, but Solomon, it wasn't bad, and hopefully he's trained out of it.
Speaking of goats, they are not Austin's favorite animal on the farm, as some viewers might know.
Yeah, we're done with goats, dairy goats.
Would you say camels are goat-like in personality?
I was worried when we got our camels we were getting giant goats. And there's nothing that scared me more than the idea of having a giant goat. Like, oh great, it's gonna jump over 12-foot fencing. Camels are, in temperament, nothing like goats. They are calm.
They're not like goats in temperament. And especially when you say not like goats, goats can be a little frantic, jumpy. They're friendly, but like in a much more in-your-face kind of way.
Yeah.
When people describe goats, in-your-face is a good way to describe it.
Yes.
You know, jumping over things, squeezing through things, pushing open doors. Last summer was like the summer of Austin yelling.
Shut the door, clean goat funnel. Shut the door, clean goat funnel.
Clean goat funnel.
When we bring the goats into the barn, we need to make sure it was a funnel and it was clean. Don't have a door open, keep it clean. Oh man.
It's stressing you out.
It's stressing me out just thinking about it because it's stressful.
So we did sell the goats that made it through the summer.
Camels are by nature, kind of like pigs and cows in that they're not so sure of you at first, but they don't startle, they don't spook. If a camel gets tangled, they're out on their leads right now. If their leads were to get tangled in something, they wouldn't strangle themselves. They would just stop and let you come and rescue them.
They are like chill surfer dudes.
I keep saying they're like the chill surfer dude cow.
Yeah, because even now compared to the cows are a bit more...
Oh man.
Going through the fence to get away, kind of frantic. The camels are not like that.
They're so different. So this has been like 10 minutes of us just saying how amazing these animals are, why they're the best possible, like if a homesteader could have one animal, it should be a camel.
Hi.
Right? Can you tell them? Get camels.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Gotta finish that one? Mwah.
We talked early on in the camel train about how this was one of the scarier purchases we've ever made for livestock. I specifically was really worried about getting these animals. Last 98 days owning camels, man, they have become my favorite animal to work with on the homestead. They're just so nice. I've really gotten to enjoy spending time working with Millie and Solomon. Their characters, our camel mentors at Camel Connection say they're the love animal. You have to develop a connection and a love with this animal. And I feel like we do. I love these animals. I already want to get more of them on our homestead. I'd love to have more camels.
There's a reason we're not right now though. Not quite yet.
And I think there's a reason that after telling you for the last 10 minutes how great these animals are, most of you probably shouldn't get them. There are some really big, tough, hard things about owning camels that make it not a good choice for most homesteaders out there right now. So, the biggest one, I don't know if there's the biggest one. Here they are. Here are the downsides why probably camels aren't right for most of you right now.
One thing that actually surprised us was it's so hard to find a vet in our area who's willing to work with camels. We've had a great vet before. We were really happy with them, actually 2 of them. But to find one when we say, hey, can you come draw blood on a camel, they just don't return our phone calls. There are other vets a few hours away, but to get somebody to travel that far is proving to be difficult. So if we were to have an emergency with our camels, the plan would be to take them to like one of the state veterinary hospitals, which as you can imagine would be expensive. So that's expensive and time consuming. That's something you really have to consider when getting, although in other parts of the world, camels are not an exotic animal. In this country, they are considered. They are not a typical farm animal. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't want to be down.
We talked about how great their temperament is, but we're specifically talking about female cows and calves. Bull camels are dangerous. We talk a lot about bulls in the bovine world being dangerous and not wanting those on our farm. We don't really think we want to have a bull camel. During the rut, they become very dangerous animals. And unfortunately, it is impossible to do AI with a camel. You can, not according to Margie. Margie said it's impossible. Our camel vet said because what happens, yes, well, I don't know if that's even possible.
Well, I've seen him do it.
Embryo transfer, that makes more sense. Yeah, you can put it in a camel. According to what I've been told from our camel vet, a female camel does not ovulate in a cycle. She will essentially let down an egg when she's being bred by a male. So she chooses, because they're survival animals and they don't want to waste any eggs, she chooses to let one down when the male is there. So without like a giant robot male camel, AI is a hard thing to figure out. So maybe there's a giant robotic male camel. I'm getting heckled over here.
No, I'm
So if you found a video online somewhere of a giant robot camel breeding a female and YouTube hasn't demonetized it and removed it from YouTube, please share it with me. But my camel vet, Margie, said this is something that's very hard to do, and even if that giant robot exists, this conversation, it's not likely you're gonna get it on your homestead for the weekend. So it means you have to have a bull. So if you don't want to own a bull, you have to travel, you have to find somebody who's got one. So there's that complication. Bulls and breeding.
Okay, Austin doesn't want to include this one, but I think this is important. If you have camels, fencing may be an issue. They are harder to fence than our cows are.
Sure.
This fencing we have, it's tall. It's not electric, which means when Millie sees grass on the other side, she goes, ooh, I want to reach that grass. She reaches over, snaps the top line off, and gets to the grass. This fencing that we have up for the cows, single strand electric, Millie, I don't even think she saw it.
She got tangled.
She just
in
like, it comes to her knee.
Yeah.
So she just walks into it, and then it's like, what's shocking me?
So they're a new, unique kind of thing to fence.
Yes.
Like any animal, you have to have the right kind of fencing
Yeah.
for them. Another one that is an issue that we have actually successfully tackled, and this may be one of the biggest hurdles for someone in the United States that has now just been eliminated, feeding them. You need to feed them a very specific diet. They need certain minerals to thrive. What?
Yeah.
You just have a knife on you?
Well.
What is it?
what's
It's like
that
a
knife?
shucker.
Yeah, she found it in the garden shed, so.
Okay.
But I don't want him to.
Anyways, so their diet. Camels, you can't just feed them horse feed. You can't just feed them alpaca feed, especially like a pregnant cow.
Yeah, those are options that if you're hard pressed, you can't find anything else. Alpaca pellets would work because they're still designed for a camelid.
Right.
But the more ideal thing is to have a food that's made for camels.
And until like a week ago, we couldn't find anywhere in the United States to get a camel feed. Well, now there's a camel feed being produced in the United States. We've partnered with Jordan from Nature's Way Feeds. She makes what she calls agri-naturals. They're a natural vegetable-based feed. They are corn and soy and gluten-free. Incredible quality organic feed. She now makes a camel feed that was designed by our camel vet, Margie Bale. Margie Bale came up with the recipe specifically for camels, and Jordan from Nature's Way Feeds is making it based off of Margie's recipe. All right, Mel, what do you think of your brand new feed? Camels can be picky of new feeds. What do you think?
I think she likes it.
I think she does too. So if you want to buy that camel feed, if you have camels or you're thinking about it, or any feed actually from Nature's Way Feed, she makes every kind of livestock feed. We have Homesteady viewers get a bulk discount. I'll have a link below to all her feeds with the coupon code to use. Check that out. But that is an issue. If you're thinking about getting camels, you need to make sure you get the right feed.
Yeah, and we learned about camels that they're not made to be in a field with grass like cows are. Cows can really utilize all that. The camels, that's not the ideal food for them. So they are more like goats in that they're browsers. They should be eating woody browse high up. If you have cows, if you have horses, sheep, you do have to learn about the specific nutritional needs of camels.
We have a very fitting camel train shout out today. We're talking all about camels. Ibrahim from Saudi Arabia is today's camel train shout out, and he was so thrilled to learn that we were getting camels. He said, "You won't believe how happy I am when I knew that you got camels. I wish all the best for the little man to get better, heal, and the rest of the family too. You guys will not only get benefits from the milk for healing, but you will get to experience how kind and amazing that creature is." Ibrahim, I think you can see in today's video how much we have grown to love our camels. You are so right. They have really gotten a place in our heart, and we love having them on this homestead. Over in Saudi Arabia on his farm, Ibrahim has cows, chickens, horses, and of course, camels. And he says that is by far his favorite animal. Ibrahim offered to send me some handmade camel halters and something that you could put on Millie that she would wear that would allow her to be with Solomon all day but would prevent him from nursing. And I have to apologize to Ibrahim because I've been so busy doing these daily videos, I haven't been able to get back to him and give him the information and where to ship it and all. But thank you so much for that kind offer, and we will definitely take you up on that. I'll be getting in touch with you once things slow down and I'm not doing a daily video. He says, stay safe and have a great experience with camels. That's what we're doing. We're having a great experience with camels. Thank you so much for joining the camel train and being a fellow cameleer, someone who has camels on their homestead. We're happy to join, and we'd love to hear anything, any of your experiences, Ibrahim, share with us in emails. We're reading all your emails. And all of you, I just have to say quickly, anyone who's emailed me in this past camel train or commented on YouTube, if I haven't responded, we've been so busy making all these videos. I know I've dropped the ball in some things, and I have to say sorry about that. But I have read everything. Thank you so much for your kind well wishes, for your kind words, for your involvement in this camel train. Let's get back to the rest of this video, the second to last one in the camel train.
Yeah, all you Australians out there, go get you a camel.
The final barrier to entry of homestead camels.
Changed your mind on that one, huh?
And this one is just a bummer too. It's the expense, and this doesn't apply to everybody. If you're in Australia, there's camel culling going on right now. They're literally just shooting them and letting them drop and rot. But if you're in the United States or other areas of the world where there aren't a whole lot of camels all over the place.
Yeah, in this country specifically because they're not allowing the importation of camels to avoid any camel-borne diseases that are in some of the other countries. What you see in the States is what you get.
It's very cost prohibitive. A newborn male camel will be $3,500.
Where are you gonna take it?
A newborn female can fetch $7,000, and they go from there. Good quality, like peak production trained camels can fetch $25,000 or $30,000. That's not what Millie was, but but yeah, there's a serious barrier to entry, and it's a shame. The law is supply and demand. There's a high demand for very few animals.
Yeah, it's like mini jerseys right now.
Homesteaders could change this. I feel like if more and more homesteaders realized the value in these animals and saw their potential, more and more could help grow the availability of this animal. The supply could increase to try to match the demand a little bit better, and the price on camels could come down.
And I think that just will naturally start happening because the demand for camel milk will be growing. We've already seen the increase in the last 6 months that we've been looking into it.
And one of the reasons why we're trying to really help spread this message, we got our camel milk t-shirts, and now any of you watching, you can get a camel milk t-shirt, help spread the message. Is it would make it so more of you we could tell more of you, yeah, go get a camel. It's like alpacas. Alpacas used to be very cost prohibitive.
Very expensive, yeah.
It used to be really hard to get an alpaca. Now, there's still expensive ones out there, but if you want an alpaca, you can get an alpaca. Where are you going, buddy? You shutting this one down? So we know that while camels would be great for every homestead, they're probably not perfect for every homesteader.
But maybe you're a little crazy like we were when we decided to bring 2 camels to Western Pennsylvania. And if you think they might be right for you, then they could be worth looking into a little bit further.
For those of you who think that might be you, we'll have some resources in the links below that helped us do a lot of research. We have an amazing interview I'm going to be releasing very soon that helped me make this decision. Stay tuned for that. It's specifically for you out there who might be the next cameleer.